Sure. So I grew up in the Welsh borders on a farm, and as a result, I'm desperate to be in the theatre.
If you've laughed by the end of the evening, you will have seen a comedy. If you haven't, you will have seen art.
Around, it was 2012, I wrote a play with Jamie MacDonald, who's a stand-up comedian. We wrote this play, and it was a great process and a lot of fun, but it flopped. And from that, we got into the spirit of doing comedy and stuff. So we thought, why don't we put together an improv troupe? And so we had some auditions, and we met some great people like Will and Steve. And Charlie was someone who I'd met at that stage. Actually, I knew Charlie at that stage, but he wasn't in Transylvanian Nights.
Born in Norfolk, escaped as soon as was humanly possible. Been performing professionally in and around theatre for about a quarter of a century now. When Men with Coconuts was first created, that's when I met Steve.
I was born in Aberdeen, raised there most of my life. I lived there for a good sort of 25 years, all in all. Studied acting in Edinburgh at Queen Margaret's. I was doing voiceover work and etc. And then I saw an advert that Harry was putting together a different long-form show. I nearly didn't go to the audition because I thought, I don't need to go to that because there'll be improvisers there who'll make me look really stupid. Will was in Transylvanian Nights with me. We'd both auditioned for Harry and got that.
Born in London, then moved to Edinburgh when I was 18 to do my degree in linguistics, and trained in drama and theatre things and acting like all throughout my childhood and teenage years, and was on stage all the time.
Wonderful! My husband is the king of the whole of England.
Through Creative Scotland, through an ad online, is how I met Harry. I auditioned for Transylvanian Nights, which was a gothic improv vampire show.
That sort of naturally came to rest, and we then, Charlie was then available, and we brought him in, and we formed this sound effects based short form troupe.
Our first show, it was a strange beast because we didn't hit the ground running at all. It was we didn't know what we were doing. I don't think we started the show feeling fully prepared, and we were trying a new idea.
We started off with quite conservative numbers coming through the doors, 12s to 15s to 20s.
It was the first improv I'd done at the Fringe, and the first long run of improv I'd done, and I was happy with the vast majority of it, but we then ditched the concept of sound effects accompanying the improv because we found we were having too much fun in the scenes and the sound effects were getting left to the side.
Through the smithy of the 2013 Fringe, sort of revealed its weaknesses but also its strengths, and then turned into this exciting, tight, short form group. But then we were really keen to get music involved.
First time I saw the Men with Coconuts was at the Fringe 3 years ago. And so the year after I joined initially as a sort of tech guy doing sound and lights, and then they realised I could play piano and started playing piano with the show. And then since then we've started doing full-on musicals as well.
And the difference between Fringe 2014 and Fringe 2013. Have you ever played the game Super Smash Brothers versus Super Smash Brothers Melee?
No, I've not.
So it's like the difference of that, like the difference up in not just the quality of what we were doing, but also the number of characters.
Fringe 2014 was such a different thing. I think between our first Fringe and that one, we'd spent as much time as possible doing shows in various venues and just trying to workshop and learn as much as we could together. And suddenly we had this new show, and I remember like the first day that suddenly we opened the door for the audience, and 80 people filed in, and suddenly there were people behind them coming in as well, and we're like, oh my God, this is happening. And something changed in our energy, and that show we came off that stage thinking, yes, we've got something. So we were so excited, and
it felt like a very different thing to, doing Oscar Wilde to 20 people. It definitely didn't feel like some just an ordinary Fringe show. It felt like a really exciting thing was happening.
We got the opportunity to go to Prague. It was like the same thing but heightened. It was like, you know, this chance to do something amazing in a great venue, but it was also a real road trip for us to learn more about ourselves and to live together for a short period of time in this beautiful city. And the reception that we had there from our first visit was just phenomenal. I mean, we were taken by surprise about how successful the show became.
I think we all definitely feel as a collective that we're almost just starting on what we're capable of. You always have these barriers as an artist, no matter what you do, that you feel like you want to get through, and once you've got through them, you suddenly realise, well, actually, there's so much more that can be achieved at this point.
With these two shows, so the flagship show, which is kind of crystallised into a very tight format of about 4 short-form games, and then an audience participation game, and then a mini musical. And then the second thing was a more ambitious sort of experiment. It was a long-form show called The Musical. The idea being that we make a musical about somebody in the audience.
I think that the reception, first of all, this year, 2015 Fringe, was staggering, was so amazing. We had a lot of very complimentary feedback and reviews and things. It was grand. But in terms of how the show was different, we had more music right from the start. We had piano accompaniment all throughout. We were singing more. We were doing bigger, bolder, more unashamed scene work and just more fun.
I can't relax, I tell you now that my heart just can't relax. Kazoo solo!
I think it just gives them another kind of thing to feed off. They can feed off each other, but then I can sort of provide extra emotion. So then I feed off their emotion, I'll sort of play it back to them, they'll feed off my emotion, and it's sort of, yeah, there's this extra layer to like the levels and stuff.
It's immense what the effect that the live music has on the show. I mean, in terms of what it brings to the actual work itself, in terms of the improv, you know, it adds to a scene, it gives us something to emote to, it informs the audience, it informs us.
Yet here it stands, as clear as day, this mystery.
I'll allow you to keep singing, keep going, but you do have to leave the museum because we close in 5 minutes, okay? Keep going.
And of course, it's not just about numbers, but it's nice to know that when you can actually do something that's inherently creative, expressive, and incredibly good fun. This sophisticated group work that we do, that we have so much fun doing. And then you can also entertain thousands of people, you know, and they have a great time, and they keep coming back. And it's those two things, I think, that I find so satisfying.
I think we have a structure and we have shared goals, and you know, we talk about things an awful lot. We probably spend as much time discussing where we are currently, where we've come from, and what we'd like to achieve together as we do practicing and performing. You've got to have that as a company. I think we've learned that.
I think there's 2 options we could do, and I think either we continue plugging away at these shows that we love, or we sell our bodies to the night.
We are the men with coconuts. We are the men with coconuts. We are the men with coconuts, but we have other things as well.
All together.
We are the men with coconuts. We are the men with coconuts. We are the men with coconuts, but we have other things as well.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys very much. Yes.
Do the tech things we need to do. If I go up to the tech booth, all right, let's just leave. Shall I go to the tech booth and sort out house music?
Yes, please. And can someone go and establish what time they come?